Hello everyone, October the 4th. A little bit cold, but I guess I can still be talking. Hopefully I'm not having to revert to coughing. Anyway, reclaiming our voice. This is this core phase of humanity's transformation, which is really individual transformation. And it is just that so many of us now are daring to speak their voice and they cannot keep up with it anymore. I mean, it's an interesting observation of mine on the FB, the how to call it, the fake book. They can't keep up with censoring anymore, I find. It's too many people posting the right thing. These fact checkers are obviously now replaced by AI, and AI is stupid, as we know. So, I mean, whenever a link is rejected outright, they say something went wrong. However, it's easily detectable that the AI bot has recognized a blacklisted link which shouldn't be shared. And well, the easy way around it is just in the link address enter a dot somewhere, an additional one, and then tell people how to make the link functional. You click on it first, it shows this is an unrecognized address, and then you just remove that one additional character, whatever that is, a dot or a hyphen or whatnot. But if that is removed, then you click the link again, and then the story, the link opens and the people can read the story. And usually what I do is a screenshot of the original story. The screenshot again cannot be read by the AI bot. So that's how we now can really go beyond that censoring thing. Just this is a little tip on the side. But it is true, we have not to be afraid anymore. It's they have lost already. These are mere silhouettes just shouting loud from the rooftops, but they have no backup of real power anymore. The system is falling apart from within. Many of these lackeys are no more doing their jobs. That's very obvious. I mean, one doesn't have to be really smart or intelligent to observe that. Just think of tax offices not sending you letters and things like that, which anyway, I just don't want to go there too much, just scratching it a little bit. So it is reclaiming our voice time. It is not important what anybody else says, really. It is important that we speak our opinions, we speak our mind, and we are standing up to all that so-called hate speech, which is truly a very I mean, it's obvious. It is a technique. It's just a way to silence people just by this weapon. And we do not accept that. We are not ready to cave in and not say what we feel, what we think, what we see, our observations. That's basically what it is. And just the more of us do that, the more it encourages others, and that will really change the world. So when did this start, really? I really like these retro loops. You can go back to earlier recordings to show the power of what that moment is. That it was when Venus in June first time crossed this exact spot, where then it eventually turned direct again on July the 23rd, I guess that was. I might be wrong on that date. I think, no, that is the date when Venus went retrograde. That was in the 29th degree of Leo. And then going backwards till September 4th, that was the day when Venus then did reach the bottom of the valley, so to say, the bottom of the wave, to reboot itself. And this moment of that same degree earlier, before Venus retrogrades, goes forward and then backwards again. This is super important. I found this is really a prognostic tool which shows you what happens in this whole 19-month period into January 28, 25, when the next time Venus will reach that point, entering a new retro loop. So this chart basically shows the Venusian energy expressing over these 19 months, and what stands out naturally is that Leo rising here with and I just have found this super interesting. It really shows the power of this chart. This is the Philadelphia experiment. Again, I made a recording on that if you're going more deep, but just saying, you see here this powerful combination of Pluto, the black moon, and Jupiter at the ascendant. There is some enormous power in these degrees, regardless of which planet is there. So with Venus being in that same degree here with Mars and the black moon, again the black moon here at the 18th degree. So there's a similarity which is striking. And I mean, this chart is really powerful in many ways, and it has to be decoded naturally with Chiron here at the 10th house cusp in Aries. Yes, it is that finding our own voice and taking responsibility. That's basically what it is. Once I recognize that I'm responsible for my life, for all that occurred in my life, regardless good or bad, that finally I might not have chosen that at that moment consciously, but maybe unconsciously. Maybe I pulled that in like a magnet, sending out a certain frequency, which then brought these characters into my life to give me that experience, that lesson. And once we really take the power back and say, yes, I am at the center of the universe, each of us is, so that's why there's as many universes as there are individuals. That's a way to see it. Each of us lives in their own universe. Yes, absolutely, 100%, because each of us stands slightly in a different spot, in that sense, has a slightly different angle of perspective, sees this world tree, if you want, in a slightly different angle, and naturally, two pictures of that world tree, so to say, are therefore identical. But this is the wonderful thing, that if each adds their own perspective, then the whole thing gets multidimensional. And if you can appreciate what others' perspectives are just by understanding that they stand in a different place, look from a different angle, then you become all-inclusive, and you don't get caught in that idea that what you're seeing is truth and nothing but the truth, and whatever else anybody else sees is not truth. You see, this is where this whole thing is going. It's quite powerful. So once we really stand in our power and are responsible for what experience we pull in, that is exactly that Chiron in Aries, as I said many times, that 7-year period, 2018 till 2025, this is the time to take that power back collectively, individually, each one in their own little universe. And once we do that, then we become the masters of our lives, regardless what happens. You have to sit with this is deep. So anyway, we have all this powerful Leo energy, and we're right in the middle of it now. Look at this moon, 10 degrees 25. Now I want to show you the next chart here, which I have lined up, which is this one. That is the moon 958 Capricorn. pretty exactly opposite that spot, and that was the latest Astrea-Vesta conjunction. Now this might look arbitrary. Why just two asteroids? Well, there is a real powerful information there behind. The asteroids are the ones which are truly the interface between inner planets and outer planets, as I explained in other times too. So it is, the inner planets is our personal sphere, and the outer planets, starting with Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Uranus, and so on, is the collective field. So how we bring our personal frequencies into the collective? This is through the roles, to say, the asteroids are giving us. They are truly asking us to manifest their energies, and therefore to become the messengers, the ones which are bringing that personal frequency into the collective. So Astrea and Vesta are the fourth and the fifth asteroid that had been discovered. Vesta in 1807, and it so happened that all asteroids were discovered. The start was with I think it was well, I might be wrong, Ceres or Pallas or Juno. They were all in that first 5-7 years of the 19th century, and then the fourth was Vesta, which is actually the largest, and Astrea then, it took another 40 plus years. Actually have here the birth chart of Astrea, 1845, and that was then number 5. I just think I loaded it here. Let's see. Yes, here it is. So this is number 4, Vesta, 525 kilometers, one of the largest objects of the asteroid belt. And Astrea is number 5, and Astrea is highly reflective, and its composition is probably a mixture of nickel, iron, and this. Okay, now another story here for those who are new to this. All the asteroids taken together, there's about 20,000 so far which have been discovered, and they're all in that space between the inner planets and the outer planets, which is a big space of nothing, so to say. Actually, early on, astronomers expected there was something hiding there, because they seemed a planet seemed to be missing in that proportional build up of the planets, how far they are from the sun. It's really like music, and there was a big gap where nothing was. So we now know planet Maldek or Tiamat was in that area, and that was destroyed. And the saying is, this is based on Corey Good's story, 500,000 years ago in a galactic war caused by intelligent beings, a war which wiped out not just the civilization on that Earth-like planet, which seemingly was bigger than Earth, and Mars at the same time, which was naturally too close by when the thing happened, and got blasted. That's why one side of Mars is so totally burnt. Anyway, that's just one other kind of proof that something of that sort happened. Anyway, the long story short, Astrea, being a nickel iron, likely is a core fragment of that planet. As we know, that's the understanding scientific, that the core of the planets is where the heaviest parts gravitate towards. It's really like the what's heaviest in your bucket goes to the bottom, collects at the center. So Astrea is a core fractal of that planet, which was once, and as a celestial body, each celestial body has a consciousness. Everything has consciousness. These asteroids seek redemption for what happened, that this won't be repeated. So there's a deep notion of service in the whole asteroid family. They are said to be feminine, it's goddess energy, and it just so happens that Oracle Girl really is a perfect manifestation of that energy, in my opinion. And the star maiden, that's what Astrea is known for, is said to rule Virgo. Virgo, that sign of harvest, of richness, of multiple manifestations, of the complexity of reality. It's kind of the mirror of Pisces, Pisces being the universal and the bottomless, and then Virgo is the one which observes that and analyzes it and understands it in its complexity. So Astrea and Vesta had their latest conjunction, and they move almost on a how shall I say that, they take about the same time around the sun. So they move in step. They have been in lockstep already for months on end. So this is has been a building story. You see here, when we look at the dynamic chart, already back in October 2022, you have Astrea here 25 and Vesta here 19, 6 degrees apart, and then as we go over the many months and weeks, you see, if we go forward fast, it's definitely too fast to watch, but we are now in April 2023 and still they're very close by. I can go a little slower for you, so you see, and then May 2023, let's go again faster. So then we have August 2023, and now they are here 26 and 0 Gemini. So they were for a long time building up towards this moment when they had an exact match on the 23rd of September. Now again, and this shows the complexity of astrology, the way I work with understanding that multiple moments in time build together a strong structure and they reinforce each other and empower each other. So for example, this was the degree of the last solar eclipse in April 2023, here at the root of the chart. Then as I said, 10 degrees here roughly, Capricorn, that is the opposition point of the discovery degree. Nee, that's not true. I'm wrong. Okay, sometimes I'm forgetting what I'm doing. That was, bear with me. That was, yeah, now I lost it. Sorry. Here we go. The Venus loop moon. So then this is another interesting one. Here the 7th house cusp, where these energies are starting to get implemented. Well, first of all, I should say, you see they're meeting here in the zodiac are at 223 Cancer. Now we have that third degree of Cancer and that third degree of Capricorn. The third degree of Capricorn is highlighted next. Okay, let me see if I find the right one here. I want to show you, not to get too confusing. Just too many charts open. Come on, which one was it? I wanted to show you. This was the one. This, no. Come on. Okay, it was a Mercury's. Why is it not here? Okay, is it this one? No. Sorry about that. I really wanted to show you the correct chart here, which I had lined up. That's the one. Okay. Here we go. Which is a really important moment coming up on the 20th of October, when Mercury will be exactly behind the Sun from Earth's perspective, which is the culmination point of this present Mercury cycle. And again, Mercury in the end is the planet which is related to realization and understanding. It is the grid we put on the reality, which then gives us a personal experience which can be put into records and in that sense remembered and projected. So all of that, the nature of time comes in with Mercury. And by the way, you see, it's so multidimensional. It's really difficult for me sometimes to give justice to what I'm seeing. I'm actually always falling short. So the best I can show you what I'm picking up in the moment when I speak about the charts, and I like to do it that way, in that sense, improvise a little bit. I don't like to write a script. So anyway, our quote here, at that moment when that culmination of the Mercury cycle will come in, which is truly then when the wave releases, and that taking back of the power and speaking our mind and realizing that we are in charge of what's going on is starting to grip. That is what this whole solar eclipse is also about. I said it already earlier, it's quite amazing. Just before the eclipse, and let me say it right, and I have to look that up quickly. Before the eclipse, we have a Mars occultation. No, actually, it's the other way around. It's before the eclipse is a Mercury occultation, and after the eclipse is a Mars occultation, and this again within less than 24 hours of the eclipse. This is really rare. So we have first a Mercury occultation, that means Mercury disappearing behind the moon, then the Sun disappearing behind the moon, which is the annular solar eclipse, which will be the second one going through America after the this is another really amazing thought I had. See, there's 3 eclipses within 7 years making their path through the United States of America and Central America. This is the second one. The first was in 2017 in August. The second one is coming up October 14th, and the third one will be in April 2024. So very often we have these triplets also a planet moving direct through a degree, then retrograde, and then again direct. So the second is always related to retro motion, and retro motion in that sense, let me see where I made this note, sometimes, okay, a retro motion is a recapitulation in that sense. We're going back through something which has been brought into the world and reflect on it in that sense, and then getting ready for the full understanding of whatever it is we have to wrap our mind around. And then the third time it is the release of the integration. So this then will be April 2024. This now is the second one, the first one having been 2017. So this was a 6+ year progress we went through, of initialization of that theme in that sense. And the theme naturally is where an eclipse makes its path through. This is where the transformation is really touching down, so to say, where rubber hits the road in a way. So this second one will be the one which is causing the pause. That is for the next few months, you could say that is the pause. So the moon here, you see, that's what I wanted to indicate. 206 Capricorn, again, that opposition to that place where on the 23rd of September, Vesta and Astrea were meeting. Now maybe a few more words about Vesta and Astrea. Vesta is worship, very simple. It's being in service of a higher dimension. There is something eternal, something infinite in this energy. It's the flame of life, the flame of light, as Jacqueline Hobbs created that term, the flame of light. I like that a lot. So anyway, she's very much in touch with what's going on. I highly recommend you listen to her reboot. Her latest one was just again mind-blowing, in tune with what I'm picking up, that we are getting back to speak our voice, getting that courage to stand up and say and express ourselves honestly, directly, uncensored, in our personal space. Yes, we don't have to go and then take a microphone and speak on national television. That's not the point. It is the day-to-day events, the small things, when you are at the grocery checkout and you're just sharing a thought which jumps to your mind honestly, openly, and you're not holding back. You're saying what you're thinking. That's where we are going. Now, you see, Elates and Homia, well, I'm jumping all over, sorry. Let's stay for a moment. So we covered Vesta. Astrea is the balance sheet in a way. It is that balance between the higher and the lower, the upper and the lower. It is also the understanding, the recognition of what's out of tune, that comes with that Astrea. Astrea is therefore very practical, hands-on, and sees where to fix things, what is broken, and there is the intuitive knowledge of what to do at the right moment, at the right time. See, this was happening just short after fall equinox, which was when the moon was around 7 degrees here. I mean, you might have listened to my recording on that, with the moon here on Pholus and Quaoar, which I said would be first of all, the Capricorn moon, yes, demands structure. It's increasingly important that we have a very clear structure in our lives, as it's getting more and more multidimensional and many timelines crossing and many things happening simultaneously. It's a very dense time we're living in. For that, it is important to take this energy of the moon at solstice, not at solstice, at equinox, as a great anchoring energy. Fullness in Quavar, yes, this is the readiness to engage in something which one has been pushing ahead of oneself for a long time. Finally, yes, now I'm ready to do it, and now I'm ready to jump and dive into this wonderful pool of opportunities and possibilities. And it is a brilliant time, regardless of the difficulties. So much is possible. We can really create a whole new reality from scratch as we speak, because the old one is gone, literally limp and falling apart. It's again, I'm repeating myself, but it's so obvious from the, if you're really paying attention and not get sucked into the polarity game, which is still playing out. Naturally, this is one of the diversions, to get stuck in that polarity game, which prevents us from getting into our own power. We delegate still into these spokespersons, kind of media figures who we're hoping, and beyond, military, whatnot, you speak, you say it, judges, to do the right thing. But this is these are just distractions in the end. So we have to really do the right thing in our personal little environment, and that is what will bring the change. So the moon here, yes, as I said, in that linking into this Venus energy, the sun here at the last eclipse down here and Earth up here. Then we have Elatus and Haumea. They just entered Scorpio now, finally, the second time, on October 1st and on the September 30th, pretty much in sync. So Haumea will be in Scorpio for the next roughly 30 years. So this is a big entry, and it is the final entry it's just had. Haumea is recreation, rebirth, redesign of everything from ground up. Really, that's this energy. And again, I'm very much seeing Jacqueline Hobbs, Oracle Girl, as being a representation also of Haumea, aside from the asteroids, mainly Astrea and Vesta. She is definitely an archetype in that sense, bringing that knowledge, but it's not really knowledge, it's intuition. You see, the way I see her is, I mean, she says she's from the future, and she also says we are all from the future who are in that position of kind of being a little ahead of the game and knowing where it's going, what we're kind of the ones who are pulling that show off and triggering it, spreading the fire and kindling it, and naturally it's not just people who already are listening to her. There's many more who are already on that frequency too. But the more we join and become coherent, the more powerful that voice gets. That's why I'm really recommending, I put the link underneath in the description. Go to her site, and I'm not allowed to share her work. She really wants to have you sign in yourself, and you don't have to even pay a penny. That's yes, it's highly appreciated if you give something $1 or 50 cents or $2 or $10, whatever you think is the right thing to start with. just start with the reboot groups every Wednesday and Saturday, which is always very much in tune with what's going on right now. What is the theme of our collective evolution? What is the present step to be taken, to be integrated, to be purified? And presently what she's really getting to is the freedom of speech. And again, this is just to take back our freedom of speech, our personal freedom of speech. And this Homea and Elatus definitely go exactly in that direction. Scorpio is relentless, is intense, is without without fear. It's really, Scorpio is one of the bravest signs because it has that volcanic fire in it which burns from deep within, and it's all about transformation. And in that sense, the transformation being then leading to the integration. It is the center of the third quadrant, starting with Libra, which is all about integration with the greater collective. And in that sense, that always naturally reflects that when we start to open up to that integration, it is ever more important that we are centered within ourselves to allow that opening to happen, to be fearlessly anchored within your power cord, your spine, so to say. So let me show you this now. So this is the latest geocentric conjunction, and then on October 29 the two have their heliocentric conjunction. And you see again the 9th degree of Leo, where I started with today with the Venus loop of June 19th. So this again links into this. And also the other one, which I really thought was quite remarkable, is this one here. That is actually just coming up on Thursday. And again, Arrokoth. I don't know if those of you who are new on this channel probably are not so aware of Arrokoth. Is a very late newcomer, discovered 2014. Was chosen as the final destination of the New Horizons space probe. So this already New Horizon, it opens up new horizons. Definitely Arrokoth is very special. It is the farthest away from Earth celestial body which has been visited by a spacecraft, closely inspected. We learned so much. The science had to be rewritten of the existence, the development of the whole solar system. It's big. So what Arrokoth really stands for is opening the curtains to a way greater panorama. We see the whole picture at once, and in that sense not get lost in the details anymore, but get that overall basic impression of what the core theme is of what's going on. And by the way, and Arrokoth is in that segment of the zodiac here, which is assigned to inner truth. That is the hexagram, I Ching hexagram 61, for those of you who are familiar with it. Look it up. It's a very, very powerful one, which is about finding the core of everything and honing in on what really matters. So that moment, Arrokoth has been going backwards for months on end. It takes about 300 plus years to once circle the zodiac. It has been going backwards for the last 5 months, and in that moment, 2:24:29 a.m., that is when, according to the latest observations and these orbits, this I guess I should say the definition of the orbits are constantly updated by there's constantly observations going on of there's so many telescopes now out there, Hubble and others, and they're all watching. The scientists are very much focused on getting all the how shall I say that, all the superficial data very correct, like temperature, density, mass, the exact speed, the exact place in the geometry and such. So and I mean that's how it should be. They give us astrologers the basic information, and we then build up on that and give meaning to the whole thing. I mean, traditionally, you probably know that all big astronomers of the past were mainly, first of all, astrologers. Yes, astrologers, you heard right. Galileo Galilei, Newton, Kepler, just to name a few of the real outstanding ones. They were first and foremost astrologers, and they just really went deeper into astronomy because that was necessary at the time to be able to calculate, to know where the planets were at a certain time, and naturally then they also made their own discoveries as they were into that already. But keep in mind, first and foremost, they were astrologers. So astrology will have a huge comeback in the coming time. It will be recognized for what it is. It's a real science, and what I'm presenting you here is really just a taste of that. So anyway, when Arrokoth turns direct, the moon at 24:40 in Gemini, and again, let me just quickly go back to that. I hope I get to the right chart here. Yes, here 20. No, this is not the one. It's this one. Okay, 24. Yep. 24:52, the 7th house cusp of that Australia-Vesta conjunction. So it's all working together. It's, as I say, it's many ingredients it takes to get something really gripping and manifesting its inner power. It's kind of like it needs suspension and anchor points to get real, to take form, and this Australia-Vesta conjunction is super important as a base for what's to come. And then the heliocentric, as you say, as you see, this is the heliocentric always is kind of the backdrop, where the pre-manifest, you could say, where the energies are in their purest form, and then as we experience them through our perspective on Earth, they manifest in a slightly different way from their original most archetypal form, which we have here, which is again with Chiron here in the center of the skies, really just reiterating that Venus retro loop theme. That's why I started with this chart again, which links into this powerful energy of the first degrees of Leo, which you see here. Anyway, so it all makes sense. So if we go back once more to what's happening in 2 days, with Arrokoth turning direct, with Uranus right center stage, the black moon now in Virgo. This is new. This just started yesterday, I guess. For the next 9 months, the black moon will express through Virgo. And Virgo, again, is the complexity and the understanding of it, and the rationalization on one level, but also the bringing it all into context, and service is a big theme here. So the black moon naturally is the shows what has to be purified, what has to be looked at, and again through the purification, through accepting and integrating the shadow, we are transforming it. So I could go on and on. Let me just stop here because my throat is really starting to give in here. Thank you for listening again, and talk to you soon.